Good evening, good evening, good evening. You're listening to Fulani Era of the Melanin Podcast Radio Show. How's everybody doing out there today? Well, I pray and meditate that everybody is doing fine and living their best life. I wanted to talk to you about brokenness. You know, my past trauma. You know, I noticed that when people compare and contrast their lives to your life, they're quick to call you broken. Oh, you're broken. They say something, you know, like a phone that falls on the floor and cracks up. You're broken. A glass of milk that falls to the floor and breaks up. People point, literally, you can figuratively see them pointing at you and say you're broken. And my thing is, there's about almost 10 billion people on planet Earth. There are a gazillion people out here who have issues. Why do we judge each other the way we do? Why do you point out and say you're broken and not say you're broken and I'm broken too? Call out the brokenness that's within your own self before you call somebody broken. I've never placed judgment on other people who are going through issues. I don't know who that person is. I may have heard about that person's story, but I don't particularly know that person and why they made the decisions that they've made in their life. Because to be honest, we all make decisions based on the ideas and thoughts that we have in our mind. And as Abraham Hicks says, a thought is a belief. A thought turns into a belief if you sustain that thought over time. Basically, if you're focused on something for a long period of time, it becomes a belief. Then it also becomes a mood. It becomes a stationary, looped emotion of yourself. And then you have the audacity when you're scanning the environment, you have this little egoic trip called judgment, and you judge other people for the things that they do. You know, Christianity, which I used to be a Christian, and some people would say, oh, you're still a Christian. The Bible says, judge not lest ye be judged. Simple. And I like the simplicity of it. You judge me, you're going to be judged. And 9 times out of 10, the person that judges gets judged. Always, always. Instant karma is what I call it. Instant karma. Okay? Because you're not taking into account you. If you're scanning your environment and you see something, and then you're going to be so out of alignment with yourself to start judging things. Well, they're this, and they should have did that. And if it was me, I would have did it this way. I wouldn't have did it like that. I would have did it this way. I wouldn't have did it like that. That's a judgment. That's a judgment. That's a judgment you're making about someone you don't even know. You just don't know them. And just because you heard or saw them do something, you thought that you're going to make an egoic judgment but not judge yourself about the actions that you had just laid down. I challenge people today. And usually, it's roughly. Now, see, I'll take it a step further because I look at things in black and white, 20th century versus 19th century. I came up with this thought about the 19th century people. And it's not a belief, it's just a thought, and I just put it out there. 19th century people, that's anybody born between 1900 and 1999. The last of the last Mohicans. It seems that the 70s, 80s, and 90s, some 60s, 70s, 80s, and 90s people, they're desperate, I believe. Because I look at the person who made the judgment. What year were you born in? What century were you born in? If your last 4 digits of your birth year end in 19, starts with the 2 letters 19, you were born in the 19th century. If the first 2 letters of your birth year start with 20, that means you were born in the 20th century. That's from 2000 to 2099. If you were born in the 21st century, your birth year would be 2100 to 2199. Nobody from 2100 to 2199 is here. No one. They're not here, people. The new people that are here is the 20th century people. That's anybody born 2000 to 2024, up to today. Okay. You have what I call is the end of the year severe and persistent mental illness. It happens at the end of every age. It seems that people get so full of themselves as they've gone through an age. An age is like 32 to 3,500 years, right? These people, okay, from 1900 to 1999, look at all the stuff they've sold up. Things that they've put out into the universe, things that they've manifested for themselves as 19th century people. They wanted computers, okay? They wanted rocket ships, and they wanted to increase their weapons of mass destruction, including bioterrorism. This is what the 19th century people have created. Bioterrorism, computers. Everybody and their mama is on a computer, okay? This is what the 19th century created. Now, the 20th century, they really didn't create anything. They're just people who are 2000, was born in 2000, they just turned 24. About to go to college, or decided not to go to college. But 2000, 2001, 2002, 2003, they're over 21. 20, 21, 22, 2000, 2001, 21, 2002, 22, 2003, 23, 2004, 24, 2000, so on and so forth. Or it's the other way around. Yeah, 24, because my grandson turned 24 in 2024. He was born in 2000. So he turned 24 in 2000. He was born in 2000 and turned 24 in 2024. He's just beginning life. They have not done anything. They're just beginning life. They haven't done anything. They haven't built any systems. They haven't built any technology. All of these 2,000 people are still under the tutelage and training of the 19th century people, basically the late 19th century people, which is 1960s, 70s, 80s, 90s. Okay, that is the late 19th century. And these people just gave birth to the 20th century people. And And the 20th century people have not built anything. I went and looked up who is the 20th century? Who are the 20th century billionaires? I looked up who are the 20th century billionaires. Nothing. It's just a list of 19th century grown adults, mostly white. Okay, mostly white Americans. Only a few. Well, when I looked up the information, it only showed white people. But we know that there are some. They may be one billionaire. There are millionaires and billionaires in the entertainment and movie industry, and it's multi-directional and multi-dimensional and multiracial. Okay. And I just have a different perspective on existence now today, because of the things that have been happening. And it seems that, it's just, I don't talk about brokenness to the point of it's debilitating. I just talk about brokenness in terms of what's the next step? Because I feel like that as a 19th century person, we've come to the height of all of pushing the height of technology through the 1990s. Through the 1990s, we pushed through the 1990s to get the technology that we're using in the 2000s today. But I feel like this is the height of it. This is the height of technology that we are living in today. But all right, guys, I'm going to land my plane right there. Until next time, you're listening to Fulani Era of the Melanine Podcast radio show. We don't say bye, because the African will see you later.